Fingerpicking is so beautiful on the ukulele. This first pattern goes with songs in 3/4 time or 6/8. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. It also goes with there is a house in New Orleans they call the rising sun. Let's take a look at it close up. This pattern starts on the G string, goes down to the A string and comes back up. This is where you start it again on the G string. I'm going to finger a C here, and you're going down with your thumb, then your index is on the C, middle's on the E, and ring finger does the A string, and then you come back, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you've got a good understanding of that, but you're finding like all of a sudden your fingers just aren't cooperating with you, well, there's good reason for that. You know, you need to build a highway of nerves between your brain to your hands, and it takes time, it takes amino acids, and it takes patience with yourself. And knowing that as a 40-year-plus music educator, I've got a 21-day course to help you just with that one pattern. I have a link down below in the description box as well in the comments. It is totally free. The next pattern I call a waterfall. You'll see why when we look up close. Close my eyes, or get the stars, how they shine for you, and everything you do, 'cause it was all yellow. Lots of other songs too work great with this pattern. Let's dive into it. I call this pattern a waterfall because it starts on the G and goes down like the previous pattern, but then it goes back up to the G. So the motion is always down. So I call that a waterfall. Doing it on a C, thumb, index, middle, ring, thumb, index, middle, and I frequently do 2 sounds per beat. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Before we go to the third pattern, I should mention that I've got lots of songs to go with these chord charts and tutorials, and I've got them linked down below in the description box. I'll also have them in the comments. And if you'd like to get the chord charts, consider joining me on Patreon. You know, I use lots of copyrighted material and I just make pennies here on YouTube, but my patrons keep this going. I could not be here without the help and support of my patrons. So consider joining me. You have access to over 250 chord charts, and I try to make them very detailed as well. The next pattern is called 3 versus C. It's almost a plucking pattern. I find myself in times of trouble. Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Or like I've got peace like river, I've got peace like a river. This next pattern, you're plucking 3 strings and then plucking your C string. That's why I call it 3 versus C. So each finger, just like the other 2 patterns, has its own string, and you're going to pitch these. Thumb comes down, the other 2 come up, and then C. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. Ready to try something a little bit more advanced? Who can say where the road goes, where the day goes? Only time verse I close my eyes and the flashback starts. I'm standing there on a balcony of summer air. This pattern is more complicated because I tend to do it with a thumb roll. My thumb will go on the G string and then I'll move it down to the C string. You don't have to, but it just makes more sense for me to do it that way. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so most of the action is on these strings. We only do the G once, so I call it steady eights 1 G, and I go from the G to the A. So I think G and A going up. When I mean up, going up towards your face. G up to your face, up to your face, and on E. 1 up to your face, up to your face, E. Up to your face, up to your face, E. This is considerably harder than the other patterns. I hope you enjoyed this little adventure in fingerpicking. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps my channel to grow. I'd love to have 50,000 subscribers. Can you help me with that? I'd sure appreciate it. Leave me a comment too. I answer all my comments, and thanks for watching all the way to the end.